1968, your UFO sighting was at your parents' house, right?
Yeah. That was the one that up close. That was really close. Uh, we had seen others that we thought were paranormal, UFO stuff, lights dancing around and bulbs and, doing up in the sky. But that night, Richard, we were coming in. I say we, the keyboard player, Warren Keith, who ended up playing with Hank Williams Jr. Uh, him and I, we were in the Bossman together. It was Dick Wagner's band. Pete Woodman, Lanny Renicky, Warren Keith, myself, and Dick Wagner. And we just finished a gig up at Lakeland Castle at the outdoor venue in Michigan. We drove back, and Warren was going to stay at the farmhouse that I was raised in. We were going to, camp out there and go on in the morning back into rehearsal. So it's maybe 3 a.m. when we pull in the driveway, and it's a full moon night. And the farmhouse had an addition put on it, a side porch that my mother had put on. And that was the only part of the house that had modern windows. The other, every window and door is the old farmhouse. My great grandfather poured every cement brick block that was in that house by hand.
Wow.
And this 11-room big house. So here's this little porch. I'm sliding, the aluminum frame window back because I'm going to walk through there. I'm going to step over and get into the house and then go around and unlock the door because my mother would always lock it from the inside. And she had a skeleton key and only one that worked. So I'm halfway in and I hear Warren give out this, "Oh!" And I thought something had him, dude. I beat feet. I mean, I ran back around there. I was in the shadow of the house, with the moon over to the east. And when I broke out of that shadow and looked up, because Warren was standing there in the driveway next to his 59 Cadillac with great big fins on it.
Oh,
He had, he had dropped his leather overnight case and was just standing there peering, up. So I look and I see this flying saucer. Big. I'm talking maybe 200 feet in diameter.
classic saucer, dome on top, flat on the bottom type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this twinkling lights. It's like when the sun hits a woman's diamond ring, you got all the facets are shining these like rainbow lights around.
Mm.
That's what it looked like right around the center. And it was encased, this saucer was encased in what looked to be a cloud. And I'm thinking, is that something projected onto that cloud? Is that, I'm trying to, my mind's doing 100 different things at once, trying to, identify with this. It was not making a sound. It was completely silent. There was no breeze. There was no wind of any type. I just, all of a sudden it hit me. Get my mother, my stepdad. I dove through that window and did a roll up to my feet, and I'm hollering to the top of my lungs, "Get up, get up, get I'm telling you, and my mom and my stepdad come out and they go, "What's going on?" I said, "Get out on the front porch." And so the whole family lines up on the front porch, and we are observing this all together. And I looked over and I see my little sister Julie, and she's like going, "Oh," it's very, when you see something like this and it's this close to you, it's I would say it was no more than maybe 300 feet up in the air. It was not very far up. And there it was. And there was no denying this. And all of a sudden, I start feeling something in my gut, like, ooh. And I grabbed, I'm thinking, have I got a shit? What is this? If I feel my guts just vibrating this low, and I look down the porch and everybody's holding their belly and their guts, going, what is that? Because it was shaking all of us. This frequency, as this thing was spooling up, Richard, it goes, "Boo." And when I begin to hear the audible tone,
Yeah.
when it hit that high frequency, the highest frequency, it was gone. It was like, and I thought to myself, there is certainly no human being inside of what I just saw, because they would be up against the back end
Yeah.
of that. It would have, you know, killed him. And my mother said, don't say anything to anybody, because at this time there were some of the headlines were, you know, swamp gas and weather
Hmm.
balloons.
Yeah.
They were blowing it off as something else, some of these sightings. She says, and they will think you are nuts. Don't say anything to anybody. And so, like we didn't, except that I went to my cousin's store, who was in Davison, a town that is to the east of Flint, Michigan. Went out 21 to Davison. I'm in his water store. He was selling uh, distillers and on demand water heaters and all this stuff to do with water. And I'm sitting in his office and I spill the beans to him because I trusted him. And I knew that he wouldn't think I was bullshitting him. And I wasn't. But his door was open about this far. When I came in, the receptionist was up there, Kathy, and she told me, yeah, he's waiting on you. He's right in there. So I didn't close the door all the way, you know. And Kathy was getting her earful of what I was saying. All of a sudden, Don and I, after I tell him about this, we hear Kathy crying. She's crying. Dude, Don says, Kathy, come in here. What's the matter, honey? And she came in and she looks at me. She said, when was that? I said, 1968. Oh my God, what month? I said, August. Oh my God, I saw the same. I said, where did
Wow.
you live? Where do you live? She said, I lived on Belsey Road, just south of Davison Road. I said, I was on Davison Road, just west of Belsey Road. I said, when if you're telling me you were a quarter of a mile down, I said, that thing would have had to. And she said, it went over the top of my house. And oh my God, she
Oh,
took
wow.
the words right out of my mouth because I could see it. She said, when it took off, it was so fast and it went right over the top of my house. And I went running out to tell my mother, do you know something, brother? Her mother thought she was nuts. Her mother had her admitted, yes, for having seen this, and she was crying because all these years had went
Yeah.
by, and now she gets the verification of seeing the same thing the same night. Now, how that happened, I couldn't tell you. I know it's good. It's very good. Spiritually, that girl got set free. Because she said, well, what does it mean? What does it mean? I said, it means we saw the same thing the same night. Don't let it get any deeper than that. It's already messed with your mind to the point where you were admitted because of it and because of your mother's disbelief. And that had to hurt you as a child for her not to believe you. Now, I said, if my mother wouldn't have seen it and it would have been just myself and Warren Keith, my mother would have believed me because she believed me.